Mayor's Monthly Update. I'm Kate Reardon, Public Information Director for the City of Everett, and this is the time that we have each month to sit down with Mayor Ray Stephanson and talk about the issues that are important to you. So welcome. We're
Thank you.
Heading into the holiday season now.
I know. Good to be here, and a lot of great activities to look forward to. Of course, this month we have Veterans Day, and the election first. The election, Veterans Day, we've got Thanksgiving, and then right into the Christmas holidays. So it's a fun time of year, and gosh, we finally have having some decent weather. I mean, we had a few stretches of rain, and we'll be talking about our rain gardens today. But we've had some nice dry weather too, so it's been terrific, and we deserve it.
Yes, we do. Really nice fall, and the leaves turned, which seemed really late this year to me, but it's been real pretty out there.
It has been.
So the library, our main public library, has undergone some renovations and has a brand new look and feel to a portion of the inside.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a pretty special place for our younger people.
Well, Eileen Simmons and her staff have really done a remarkable job, and the library board, Friends of the Library, to really make the library a really all-inclusive place. And I think for a long time there's been a recognition that for those citizens who are teenagers, that are sort of in that stage where they're not able to take advantage of the young kids reading programs, and they're not yet an adult, what to do for them, and how do we make this an inviting place? And Eileen and her staff have done a remarkable job through the spelling bee and other fundraising activities to raise money to create, through renovation and remodel, a teen center for our young people. Just a space for them where they can get on the computer and hang out with one another and enjoy each other's company in a real safe environment. And so that's in the process of being completed, and we thought at the same time we would take advantage of the time to do some maintenance. I've been to the library recently. We do our level best to keep the place looking great, but we've worn the carpet out completely. So we've taken the opportunity at the main library to replace the carpet, which was well needed that we do that. So we're going to be, I suspect by the time this views, we're going to be open again. We had to close for about a week and handle everything out of evergreen, but I'm just real pleased how much visibility the library's getting, and how we're really trying to make it important in different age groups in our community, in their lives and in their social lives. So good for Eileen and the library board and her staff, and I think if you have a chance to get down there and visit, just poke your head in there and see what's going on. It's pretty cool. Absolutely.
And just having that new carpet in there is going to make it feel so much better.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
And then we also have the unique ability to have sponsors that help pay for some of our parks and recreation programs, as well as offer scholarship opportunities to youth to participate in our programs. And we do have a nice list of sponsors that we want to acknowledge today. Do you want to do the honors of that?
Yeah, I'd like to do that. And just before I do that, just say that a city the size of Everett, and really any city who really values citizens and values activities, and it just cannot happen without a lot of citizen volunteers. 19 organized neighborhoods, as I've mentioned, over 300 people serving on volunteer boards and commissions in the city, and then on top of that, to get help from corporate sponsors, particularly around our parks program, is just terrific. The sponsors that I want to thank this year, and I want to make sure I read this so I don't miss anyone: Walmart, Northwest Fishing Guides of Everett, the Pilchuck Veterinarian Clinic, Cliff Bar Corporation, Odwalla Corporation, and Western Facility Supply of Everett. All of those folks either made cash or product contributions to our park system, and we really appreciate their help and support. I know Paul Kaftansky and the Parks Board and the park staff really appreciate it as well, and anyone who is using our parks, and we have a lot. I mean, we love our parks and we use them a lot, and so for our citizens to be able to take advantage of that is terrific. So any help we can get, we very much appreciate it.
Definitely. Well, let's talk real quick about our rain garden pilot project, and then we're going to take a break. But we have a pretty unique project in North Everett.
Yeah.
And it's something that brought together many community members, but really for a legitimate reason.
Yeah.
To help the drainage in the area.
A very practical reason, and I think this maybe deserves a little bit of background. I don't want to go on too long, but we had that rain event in North Everett, and it flooded a number of basements and properties, and it was really obviously devastating to a lot of property owners and families. And we took the unique step of really going beyond just cleaning up and what we would normally do in a situation like that, and tried to make people as whole as possible, because we felt it was the right thing to do. There's two practical parts though that we did, which was look at our sewer replacement project out there. And what we did is we increased capacity where we could, so we could get it to a location or a juncture where it could handle the capacity of a dual event of both sewage and heavy rain. So those improvements have been or will be installed. But we also did some rain gardens, and this is sort of an experimental process. And the whole idea is through these rain gardens to get those gardens to absorb part of that heavy rain so it doesn't get into the sewer and water system. And we had a number of volunteers who I'd like to mention. Obviously the Everett Public Works, the Snohomish Conservation District, Snohomish County, Washington State Extension, and the Stewardship Partners. They built 7 rain gardens in Everett. And this event occurred in September, and we had a lot of volunteers once again, and those volunteers came through homeowners and also the Conservation District, and a number of volunteers that were master gardeners. So people came together, they installed these, and I would encourage anyone who's interested in seeing what they look like and knowing and learning more about this to go onto our website and check it out. One caution, these rain gardens are on private property, so be respectful. But if you want to sort of breeze by on your walk and see what they look like, and maybe that makes some sense for you and your property, it'd be something that obviously would be welcome, and it has a very practical and good purpose as well.
Absolutely, and we can show some pictures of that, and
Yeah.
and people can get an idea of what they look like. But they're using the idea of native plants and just a unique
Trees. And,
native plants and trees, and then just a unique setting for that garden to sit on the property. And
Exactly.
the ones that are in North Everett are really easy to see, and there's also information boards at each location as well, so you can learn more about those at that location too.
So we're going to take a break,
Yep.
and then we'll come back.
Yep, so we'll be right back, and we'll talk about the 2012 budget.
In March of 2004, our 4-year-old daughter, Amanda, died suddenly from the flu.
She was a happy, healthy little girl. And less than 48 hours after we first started seeing symptoms, she was gone.
Children have the highest rates of influenza infection of any age group, yet they are rarely vaccinated. All it takes is a quick visit to your doctor or local clinic. It could save your kids' lives.
We learned firsthand how serious the flu can be for a healthy child. This flu season, we encourage families to protect their children and themselves from this potentially serious illness.
Every year, children die in the United States from influenza and its complications. The majority of these children have no high-risk medical conditions. Ask your doctor about flu vaccination for your children and family. To learn more about influenza, visit familiesfightingflu.org. Brought to you by Families Fighting Flu.
Welcome back to the Mayor's Monthly Update. We are just getting ready to talk about the 2012 budget, but before we do that, I was going to have you talk about the amazing unveiling of a very one-of-a-kind product that we have at our very own Lions Park.
You know, we are the first park, as we understand it, in the nation that has a new wayfinding system for a park, and it is both in Braille, which is obviously the traditional way for visually impaired people to find their way around the park. But this one also, you can access audio, and both at the park and online, to give you the sort of the look of the park and where to find different features. And it's very user-friendly. We had some of our visually impaired community out at the unveiling, and they were just amazed at how easy it was to use and how user-friendly and very appreciative that the city would take that initiative. This was, I was so pleased because oftentimes, you know, these great ideas are cost prohibitive, but this was under $20,000 for us to take advantage of this. And I'm hopeful as the economy gets better and we continue to work to make our parks as accessible to all our citizens as possible, that we can expand this program. Lions Park's out on 75th. It's out by the now Boys and Girls Club. So easy to find from Evergreen Way. Just go east on 75th. If you're on Beverly Boulevard, just go west, and you'll find Lions Park, and it's worth coming out and seeing.
And the park itself is beautiful because of the renovations that were done just a few years ago.
Yeah, it's been great.
Good. Well, I've been looking forward to having you tell us more about the 2012 budget. We're really there now, even though we've been talking about it for several months on this show. But why don't you give us an idea of what to expect next year?
We have highlighted this, and with the revenue and expense update in September, Deborah Bryant was able to give you a bit of a preview of what 2012 is about. So I'll try to be as succinct as I can. My budget address will occur November 2nd. It's a night meeting. I would encourage as many citizens as possible to come to that meeting at City Hall. If you can't make it there, obviously you can see it live that evening, and you can see it during the week following the council meeting. And then following that, there will be a series of public hearings, and then the council will consider an ordinance and adopt the budget in the December timeframe. Let me just describe it this way. Still a very difficult economy. We're seeing a slight bump in an increase, if you will, in revenue, not much. And it's really been more representative of finally getting the 787 certified, the continued sales of airplanes at the Everett plant. That has given us a little bit of relief, but it's important to remember that all other revenue remains flat or is still sort of bouncing on the bottom. And it's really, I think, Kate, a reflection that we have high unemployment, people really with limited disposable income, and so they're having to make choices. That's why we're not seeing, big increases in sales tax. Sales tax is one of the top 3 sources of revenue for the City of Everett, all cities, if you will, in terms of providing money for us to operate and provide services. But the good news is we continue to manage well, and we set a solid foundation several years ago that allow us not to have layoffs, not to have dramatic service cuts. Have we streamlined in certain areas, and may it take longer to get a permit or to get someone come out and replace your sidewalk? Probably. But when the critical services of public safety and fire and paramedic service, our service remains very high, and that's something we're just not willing to compromise. So this budget does not have layoffs, does not have furloughs. I mean, furloughs is an avenue that some municipalities have used, but we have really downsized our organization through retirements and through turnover, and we're holding a number of vacancies, but we're trying to do it very intelligently so we don't affect the major services that we provide. So that's what 2012 looks like. We did look at all of our vacancies. We determined that there were 12 positions that even in an improved economy, we would likely not fill. And so we'll ask the council to eliminate those permanently as well. But again, when you see what those positions are, you're gonna, I believe you'll just say to yourself, you know, that's what any good business would do. That's what I would do if this were my household budget. I would just have to make those kinds of choices. The other piece of this, because I really think it's important for our citizens to know that we're not just about balancing the budget and doing service and budget cuts to make sure, because we are required to balance our budget and not spend more than we bring in. But we continually stay focused, and I think even more than we ever have before, in protecting the jobs that we have in the community. And I'll give you for an example. We've worked very closely with Kimberly Clark, and now Atlas Holding that's looking at buying that mill. I would say right now, in terms of my top priority, is to protect as many of those jobs as I can. Those are good family waste jobs, and we don't want them to go away in our community, and we value them. We worked very hard on making sure that the tanker was built by an American company, and that company is Boeing. So that, you know, that was a major piece of this equation. We worked very hard to make sure that when the Lincoln leaves this month to go on one more deployment, and then for refueling, that we had a replacement aircraft carrier. I mean, those are the, you know, the sort of the big pieces that you just have to get right in terms of maintaining your economic balance in this city. And I think we've done a good job with that. The future is about Washington State University. The future is about growing our medical presence as a community. We think there's great economic value in doing that. Now we're going to see in the interim, and it's disheartening, but it is a financial fact of life. You're going to see 100, 150 people in the medical field through our hospitals that are going to lose their jobs. And that's really a function where Medicare payments have been reduced by the federal government. The cost of medical care increases. There's more people unemployed. There's more people using care that they can't pay for. And so what the hospital system has done basically is they've looked at all of their costs, and they've taken an approach not unlike any business or city would do, and that is, where can we reduce with the least impact? And they still have a high commitment to high quality medical care, but they also know that some of the back office functions and the administration functions, they're going to have to streamline, and they're going to have to do more with less. And so that's the great challenge in all this. I still believe that we've got 36 or 48 months ahead of us of really a pretty depressed economy. And I'm mindful, and every day I think about those who are unemployed and who are on food stamps or visiting our gospel mission because they don't have housing, and my heart goes out to them. And the best thing I can do is make sure that the city runs financially well, and to do everything I can and partner ship with our congressional delegation and county and other city leaders to try to make more jobs available. And we can't do that directly at the city. What we can do is make sure that our taxes are low, that we're inviting in terms of being a place to do business, and we're out recruiting every day to try to encourage companies and to either move here, expand here, relocate here, and to grow jobs. And so we'll continue to do that. And I know, as I mentioned, I know it's tough for a lot of folks out there, and we think about them every day, and we're working hard to try to make a difference.
Well, with that said, I hope that everyone in your family has a happy Thanksgiving, and
You as well, Kate.
thank you. And we'll be, of course, thinking about the folks that are in positions that are not as great as others. So
Yeah. And you know, there's so many ways to give. You can give through your church. I know we're doing Thanksgiving Day baskets now for the families, and United Way is a great way to give. But wherever your passion and whatever you can do, if you can do $100, you can do $5. It's all appreciated. So do what you can. And for those of us who are fortunate enough to have jobs, I think, you know, it's going to be incumbent upon us to do a little bit more. So with that, you have a happy Thanksgiving, and the same to all of our viewers as well.
thank you. And thank you for joining us for the Mayor's Monthly Update. We'll see you again in December.